Hi there, this is Chef Martin in the ThermoWorks demo kitchen, and today we're going to talk about the Thermapen Mk4 instant read thermometer. This is kind of our flagship product here at ThermoWorks, and with good reason. With unparalleled speed and accuracy, this is the best thermometer on the market today. It has a really rich feature set also, some of which you can see here on the screen. We've got an auto on, auto off function. It turns on automatically when you open it. If you let it lie still for 30 seconds, it will turn off. And when you pick it back up, it will turn right back on automatically. It has a light sensor for an automated backlight that turns on and off in dark situations, if you're grilling at night or in a dark kitchen. It has an auto screen rotation that rotates every 90 degrees automatically without even pressing a button. And it has an optional decimal resolution. I have the decimal resolution turned on this Thermapen, but you don't have to have that. You can have whole degrees if you want. These features make the Thermapen not only super accurate and fast, but also really fun to use. People who get the Thermapen find they use it more and more in more places of their lives than they ever thought that they would. The sensor of the Thermapen is in the tiny little cone tip of the Thermapen right there. That's where the sensor is. It's all right there. And that means that you're taking the temperature in a very precise location in the meat. The location of that sensor in the tip is important to know about because you're actually taking the temperature at several places as you go into food. So if you have a steak that's cooking, as we'll show later, you can go into the steak and it will be measuring the temperature at the surface of the steak, then measuring the temperature slightly lower and slightly lower. And that means that the Thermapen does not lock in on one temperature. Some people call in and ask us from time to time why the Thermapen doesn't lock in, and it's because it's taking a live reading temperature all the time. The temperature of your steak isn't locking in, it's changing. So the temperature on your Thermapen needs to be changing too. Another question that we get from time to time is why the Thermapen doesn't start at 0. Many tools and instruments start at 0, but the reason is that the Thermapen is taking the temperature all the time. So it starts at room temperature, or whatever temperature it happens to be in. And that's the reading that you have on your thermometer. It's going to start where the temperature is. It doesn't start at 0 and zoom up to room temperature because it's taking a live reading all the time. One other thing about the Thermapen is that it doesn't actually measure doneness, it just measures temperature. If you like your steak well done, the Thermapen doesn't say done, it doesn't say medium rare, it just gives you the temperature for what the steak actually is. And it does it with a high degree of accuracy. 0.7 degrees Fahrenheit is the accuracy of the Thermapen. And that means you can really hone in on exactly what temperature you want for your food. But it isn't going to tell you when your food's done. You have to kind of experiment with that and know when you like things to be done. One other thing that the Thermapen doesn't do is it doesn't stop the cooking. Just because you realize you are where you need to be doesn't mean that the cooking is done. It's up to you to get the food out of the pan, onto the plate, and away from heat so that it actually stops cooking. If it stays in the pan, it's going to continue cooking and get overcooked. Once you understand how the Thermapen works and what it's capable of doing and how it does that, it becomes the perfect thermometer for steaks, chicken, fish, pork, bread, candy, deep frying, soap making. The Thermapen is perfect for everything where temperature is important. To demonstrate how the Thermapen actually works, I'm going to cook a steak and we can take a look at how it actually runs. So I've got a nice black steel pan here. I've got some steaks that I've salted and peppered up. Let's cook a steak and take a look at the Thermapen in action. Okay, so we've got a pan that's really hot here, smoking hot, about 450 degrees. We've got a little bit of oil in the pan, and I've got some nice steaks here. So I'm going to throw that in the pan, like that. And we're going to let it cook for just a minute. On that side, we're going to give it a couple minutes, then we're going to flip it. And we can start taking the temperature already just to see how the temperature changes as you go through the meat. All right, this steak is cooked on this side for just a minute or two. We're going to turn it over. You can see we've got a nice crispy brown crust there. We're going to turn that over. And in just a minute, we're going to temp the steak and see what it looks like in the middle compared to the edge. All right, this steak's been in the pan for a couple of minutes on each side. We're going to go ahead and temp it. Remember, the sensor is right in the tip of the Thermapen. As we go into the steak, you'll see the temperature change as we move through the center. 130, 120, 86, 73, And then it starts to go up again when I get down to the bottom of this steak. So when you temp a steak, or really anything else, you want to push basically all the way through and then pull it back out slowly. It's fast enough to measure the temperature as it changes going through, and you want to look for the lowest temperature that you see. What we're looking for is the thermal center. That's the part of the meat that is the furthest away from the edges, the part that will take the longest to cook. In this case, our thermal center is at about 65 degrees. We can get higher than that up here. We can get higher than that down further in, but 65 is about the lowest temperature. That's the thermal center, and that's the part we want to take the temperature of all the time. That's the same whether we're roasting a turkey, roasting a chicken, cooking a chicken breast, cooking a pork loin, a pork chop, or even taking the temperature in a cake. That's how you know when something's really done, when the thermal center is at temperature. So today we've talked about what the ThermaPen is, how it works, where that sensor is, and why that means it's not locking in or starting at zero. The ThermaPen is always taking a live temperature super fast as it goes through your food. Be sure to look for the thermal center in your food for the best results, and you'll start getting perfect results every time. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm Chef Martin. Check out some of our other videos while you're here. Have a great day.